Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head, just obsessing over what someone thought of you? Or maybe you've backed out of doing something you really wanted just because you were afraid of what people might say? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that can help us break free from this constant need for approval. Right? It feels exactly like this, doesn't it? Like you're on a treadmill, running and running, chasing after validation from your boss, your friends, your family, even from total strangers on the internet. You're putting in all this effort, but you're not actually going anywhere. It is exhausting. And let's be real. Our world of social media, with its likes and its shares, has basically put that treadmill on the highest speed. Every single post becomes this little referendum on our worth. It is a total ego trap. But what if I told you there's a way to just step off? There is, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, so first things first, let's really get our heads around the problem. We need to understand the mechanics of this trap we're all in, what some psychologists call the desire for recognition. This quote just hits the nail on the head. I mean, think about it. You post a picture online and you're anxiously refreshing the page, watching the likes tick up. Is that real happiness, or is it just a temporary little boost for your ego? When we build our sense of self on what other people think, we're basically building a house on sand. So here's the bottom line. If your life is basically a performance for an audience, who's writing your lines? When you're constantly trying to meet other people's expectations, you're not living your life. You're living the life they want for you. You're essentially letting them steer your ship, and you lose the freedom to be who you actually are. So why? Why do we get caught in this trap so easily? What is it deep down that makes us crave that approval so much? Well, the answer, it turns out, has to do with a feeling that every single one of us has. The psychologist Alfred Adler said we all start out with what he called a feeling of inferiority. Now, hang on, that sounds bad, but it's not. It's actually a good thing. It's that natural feeling we have as kids, that we want to grow, to get better, to stop being so helpless. It's the engine that drives all human improvement. And this is where it gets really interesting. There's a huge difference between a healthy feeling of inferiority and an unhealthy inferiority complex. See, on the left, the healthy version is when you compare yourself to your ideal self. It makes you want to get better. But the unhealthy version, on the right, that's when it becomes an excuse. That's when you start thinking, well, I'm not that smart, so I can't apply for that job. It becomes a reason to just give up before you even start. So this diagram might look a little academic, but the idea is super simple. We all start feeling like we're in a minus state in some way. Not strong enough, not smart enough, whatever. And that feeling creates this natural push toward a plus state, our ideal self. This is a good thing. This is the journey of growth. But here's where the trap gets sprung. The whole system goes haywire when we stop comparing ourselves to our ideal self and start comparing ourselves to other people. All of a sudden, life isn't about personal growth anymore. It's a competition. And in a competition, every other person is a potential rival you have to beat. Okay. So we're stuck in a recognition trap, and it's being fueled by this endless comparison game. How in the world do we get out? Well, this is where things get really interesting. The solution is powerful and maybe a little counterintuitive. Just let that one sit for a second. The desire for recognition makes you unfree. Every time you do something hoping to get a pat on the back, you're giving away a little piece of your freedom. So the path to real freedom means we have to actually let go of wanting that recognition. The question is, how? The secret weapon here is a concept called the separation of tasks. It sounds simple, but trust me, this idea is a complete game changer for untangling yourself from other people's expectations.
So here's how it works. In any situation, you just ask yourself one simple question. Whose task is this? Let's use that job interview example. Preparing for it, doing your homework, dressing nicely, that's your task. But what the interviewer thinks of you, or whether you get the job, that is their task. It's not up to you. Your job is to focus only on what you can control and let go of the rest. That is freedom.
Okay, so this brings up a pretty big question, right? If we stop looking for praise from other people, where does our self-worth come from? If we're not getting it from the outside, how do we find it on the inside? And the answer is just so beautifully simple. Happiness isn't about what you can get from the world, it's about what you feel you can give to the world. True, lasting happiness comes from a feeling of contribution. And that word subjective is everything. It doesn't mean you need someone to tell you thank you or give you an award. It's about your own internal feeling that you are useful, that you're adding value to your community, even in a small way. It's a sense of worth that you generate all by yourself. And this is the ultimate hack. This feeling of contribution is the perfect antidote to the recognition trap. Because when you genuinely feel in your bones that you are of use to someone, you just don't need anyone else to confirm it for you. You've already accepted yourself. The craving for likes and praise, it just kind of fades away. All right, this brings us to the final, and I gotta say, the most challenging piece of this whole puzzle. This is the big one. It's the idea that gives this whole philosophy its name. Whoa. Okay, that sounds intense, right? Freedom is being disliked? Now, this doesn't mean your goal is to be a jerk, not at all. What it means is that if you are truly living an authentic life by your own rules, it's just a fact that some people are not going to like it. And that's not a failure. It's actually a sign that you're succeeding. So let's be super clear. Being disliked isn't the point. It's just the side effect of being free. It's the proof that you're marching to the beat of your own drum. Think of it as the price of admission for getting to live your own life instead of the one someone else expects you to. Real freedom has a cost, and this is it. So, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Just really imagine it for a second. If you could really, truly stop being afraid of what other people think, what would you do differently? What choices would you make? What kind of amazing life could you build for yourself?